You're most likely familiar with this continent, Europe. In the middle of Europe, there's a country called Austria. Austria was an empire itself. It was part of Austria-Hungary. It was part of Germany. Nowadays, it's a small country in the middle of Europe. More importantly, it has a major city that's considered the center of Europe, Vienna. Even though it's completely Western, it has Western culture, and the country is Western itself, it's still considered the center of Europe. When you walk through Vienna, you see how beautiful it is. It has a lot of historical sites, and it's extremely safe. And this is why it has a lot of tourism. But these tourists aren't the only visitors that come to Vienna, because there's spies that come here from all around the world, making Vienna the spy capital of the world. In the last 30 years, Vienna has turned into the spy capital of the world, where it's estimated at any given time there's more than 100 spies from all around the world performing activities in the city, something you will not find in any other city in the world. These spies aren't your normal CIA or Mossad agents. These are all diplomats and politicians that come from different countries. And it's good to know, most of these spies that come to Austria are from Russia and China. This is their number one place to have contact with Western politicians and spies, and it makes it much easier to collect information. It has been said that there's more than 290 Russian diplomats that are in Vienna at any given time, and some experts say 75 of those 290 are all spies, and they're just acting like diplomats. And they're not working for the government itself, but rather the FSB, the Federal Security Service. So if Vienna is the spy capital of the world, why isn't the country Austria doing anything about it? Why don't they arrest these guys? To answer your question, we have to go back to World War II. In the year 1945, when Germany was defeated, it was cut into 4 different pieces. Austria had the same fate. It was cut into 4 different pieces. Before World War II came to an end, the Allies had already considered what they want to do to Germany, so they knew what was gonna happen when they got Berlin. But they didn't speak about Austria. They cut it into 4 pieces, but they didn't know exactly what to do with it. All of the Allies, including the Western powers and the Soviet Union, didn't want to cut Austria up in half and create another East and West Austria. They wanted to keep it intact, which is why Stalin was the first person to consider making Austria a neutral zone. Basically a place where the East and the West could go without the government choosing a side. Even though Stalin considered this, the Western powers weren't gonna have it, so it just stayed in 4 pieces for many years. More than 10 years passes until we get to the year 1955. Stalin had already died at this point, and the new leader, Nikita Khrushchev, tries to deal with the Westerners to execute what Stalin considered: make Austria a neutral zone. And this is exactly when the new government of Austria was put in place. It had to stay neutral whatsoever. It cannot take Western or Eastern side. Everybody's welcome. Austria is completely Western. It has Western culture and ideology. But because of this new government, it had to follow the rules. It had to stay neutral. Like for example, in 2022, when Russia attacked Ukraine, every Western European country was against Russia, but Austria wasn't allowed because it was embedded in its constitution that it's not allowed to be against any of the major powers that won World War II. In the Austrian constitution, it has said that the Austrian military is not allowed to unify with any other country's military. Another rule is that it can't allow any other nation to build an army base there. And another rule is that in terms of economic purposes, Austria cannot unify with other countries as well. But we all know that in 1995, when the European Union was formed, this law was taken out because Austria became part of the European Union. Until now, the only rule that changed in the constitution was the one we just explained, but all the other ones are still intact. But what are the rules that are anti-spies? How are so many spies allowed to enter the city without being touched? And the reason for that is, the rules that are anti-spy in this country are very soft. You could say it has the softest laws against spies compared to any other country. Their rules are basically this. No country is allowed to spy on the Austrian government. The next rule is that no military spy can enter Austria, basically saying that the spies cannot be military. And another thing is that other countries' intelligence agencies cannot send agents to Austria. These are the only anti-spy laws in Austrian government. These laws are basically put in a way where other countries can find loopholes and easily enter this country and spy freely. This shows us that Austria is truly a neutral country. Even Switzerland, which is considered neutral, doesn't allow spies to enter it like this. It seems like the Austrian government wants this place to be the spy capital of the world. It's kind of like a game to them. A lot of spies come into this city to play 4D chess with one another. The data shows that the most spies in this country come from Russia, especially after the Ukraine war began. And the reason for that is, after this war began, the entirety of Western Europe was against Russia, except Austria. So the only loophole they can find to enter Western Europe and get access to Western Europe power politicians is through Vienna. You have to know that about 30 years ago, after the USSR collapsed, their influence in Eastern Europe is fading away fast, and their only hope to have influence in the rest of Europe is through Austria, and that's why they take advantage of it. Countries that are allies in Western Europe work together in Vienna to spy on other agents. And this goes for the other way. Serbian and Russian agents, which are friends, spy on the Western agents. It's basically like a Hollywood film where they spy on one another to get more intelligence. Some may think that Austria as a Western country is part of the EU, so it's not friends with the new Russian government even after the Ukraine war. But that's not the case. The only country in Western Europe that has not cut ties with the Russian government is Austria. Like, for example, the Russian government has more than $25 billion of assets in Austria. And another thing, Austrian banks owe the Russian government $17.5 billion. These are the reasons that makes the CIA and the MI6 not to work with the Austrian intelligence, because they know they're not loyal to anyone. They will sell the information to whomever they want. This is the same way for the Russians. They don't share intelligence with the Austrians either, because they know they'll sell it to the Westerners. But what the Austrians do is that they make a playing field in their capital city that allows these guys to go against one another to collect information. And the Austrians just watch and enjoy the show. So anyways, in this video we figured out any spy that wants to get started to spy on other countries, Vienna is your place.